Welcome back to Star Trek Fleet Captains. This will be the conclusion. All right, I think what we're going to do is going to go relatively quickly. We are going to do a scan action with the Federation Venture on this location. So we're going to scan this area of space. We're going to see what it is. It's a Class M planet, habitable. Installations at this location require one less control token to build. We get an encounter on a 1 or 2. And it's a size 4. So we're going to put a scan token on there. And then very quickly we're going to take the Venture and we're going to move into this space. So we're going to remove the scan token, which is going to go on one of our missions, Exploration. Now remember, if we get 2 of those tokens on the Exploration mission, we'll complete it. So we're going here. Now if we roll a 1 or a 2, we'll have an encounter. We roll a 1, so the Venture has an encounter. So we're going to look at the encounter deck. And, oh great, Ferengi Explorers. Attack your starship without warning. Roll 1d6 to determine how effective their weapons are. On a result of a 2 to 6, a friendly ship of your choice in this location is the target of an attack. With weapons test total of 15, on a roll of 1, the weapons test total is 30. Resolve this attack like a normal combat. Discard this card after the attack. Oh, the rotten Ferengis are attacking us. Well, let's roll a die and hope we don't get a 1. So we get a 5, which means it's a 15 attack, but we can make an adjustment to our ship. So we're going to, of course, pump our shields up. And our shields are at the bottom here, and so we are going to do, what are we going to do? We're going to go to 13 here for our shields. And is there any way? 13, and we're going to play this card as a combat card. This was on here for +5 sensors, but we're not going to bother using it. So we have combat. Playing it as a combat, it was on the ship. If our sensors are at least 1, which they are, our sensors are, oh, they're at 0. Hang on, I got to redo this. I got to rethink it a bit. Okay, we're going to put it here. So we have shields of 13, sensors of 12. So this will apply. So we're being attacked, so what's considered a combat? Combat test. We get +3 to weapons or +3 to shields. So we're going to add the +3 to our shields. So we're going to discard that card. And that is going to mean that we have now a total of 16 shields, and so the Ferengi attack does not do any damage to the Venture. So, we dodged that one a little bit. So that was not a great encounter, but at least it didn't destroy us. Oops, and these action counters. Okay, we did take an action for the Venture. We have not taken any actions yet for the other 2 ships. Okay, up next, I think I'm going to zoom down a little bit, and we're going to have either the Reliant or the Yosemite take a turn. Okay, so we are going to have the Reliant is going to go and explore that space. Now, it has currently a engine speed of 8, so it costs 1 to move in here. This is a size 4, so it's going to cost 1 more. So to move here is a total of 5 movement. No problem, so we're going to take that off. We're going to be completing that mission, and we already know that this was just empty space. But we're going to have an encounter on a 1 to 4, so there's good likelihood we're going to have an encounter. And we immediately, though, have 2 scan tokens now on our exploration mission, which means when you remove 1 token, so we put 2 on here. Basically, we're going to get 1 victory point for exploration. So we get 1 victory point for exploration. That takes us to 6 victory points. And we're going to take another science mission. We take it off the top of the deck now. And what do we have? A rescue mission. Well, without reading all of the text, because I don't think we're going to be anywhere near able to do that, we now have the 0 losses mission accomplished as well. Secret mission condition: if your victory point is less than 3 points away from the victory goal total, which it is, it's only 2, and you have not lost a single ship, which we have not, this mission is complete. Another 2 victory points, giving us now 8 victory points and a possible win, unless the Klingon player can get 1 more victory point and tie us. And so we're going to look at another one, and we have a nebula probe. Make a successful level 12 sensor test in a nebula worth a victory point. Ooh, and I think we may just go ahead and do that. So that was the Reliant, but we have to roll on a 1 to 4. We get an encounter. We get a 2. So the Reliant will, in fact, have an encounter. And the encounter the Reliant is going to have is the Pakled Scavengers. Using a clever ruse, a Pakled ship has stolen some of your technology. Attempt a level 10 weapons test. Ooh. To convince them to return your equipment. If you succeed, place this card in a victory pile. If you fail, you must disable a system on the ship until it is repaired and discard this card. So this would be worth 1 victory point. We have to test level 10 weapons. That should normally be easy, but because it's the Reliant, I don't know. We didn't make an adjustment. Oh man, we didn't make an adjustment to our Reliant yet. So let me just zoom out a little bit here so I can get all the details in screen, and then we'll process that. All right, so looking at the Reliant, it has a +1 weapons already, and we're going to make a power adjustment, and we want to make sure our weapons go to maximum. So they're going to go from 4. We're going to put them actually at 4 here. So that gives us now 5 weapons, and we can play 1 combat card, and we have some combat cards. Combat. Sorry, use the ship's sensors instead of its shields in this combat. Well, we're not. We're actually attacking, and we don't seem to have any attack cards. But we can discard a card. Or hang on, maybe I want to do this. No, I think we want to tackle this. Oh man, I don't know what to do. I think we're going to discard a card, draw another one, and hope that we can get a useful combat card. And the card we pull is Diplomacy, Combat. The combat ends. Either player has control of this location and remove 1 control token. Well, we can just negate this combat. But we won't get the victory points. We only have 5 combat. And really that's all we can do. So I'd have to roll a 5 or a 6. Let me roll a 5 or 6. The Reliant is going to fight. Come on. And I roll a 1, which means we fail. And by failing, one of our systems must be disabled. Well, it's the end of the game, so not too concerned. So we're going to take a token here, and why don't we, I gotta find the disabled. So let me just come back with a disabled token. I think we're going to disable our weapon. All right, so I found it. It's the disable weapons token. So we have a +1 to weapons, but unfortunately now, until we repair the Reliant, it doesn't have any weapons at all. They're disabled. Not a big deal. We can take one more action with the ship, and I don't know, we may as well do an influence action. We'll control that sector of space. So we drove the Pakleds away, but we blew out our weapons doing it. We have one last ship to go, and I think we might as well attempt this nebula probe. Make a successful level 12 sensor test in a nebula, worth a victory point. Why not? We're in a nebula already. We have to make a level 12. The Yosemite has sensors of, so we're going to adjust the sensors up to 13. Why not? We're going to adjust them up to 13, and we get +1 to all systems for the Doctor, which means we're going to get 14 for a sensor check, which easily meets or exceeds the level 12 sensor test in the Nebula. That's going to get us another victory point, and so very quickly we have 9 victory points. So the Klingons now would have to get 2 victory points this turn to catch us and win the game. And we might as well get another science mission. Planetary survey, make a successful level 12 sensor test on a habitable planet. And that was an action doing that mission, so I should say that we have all 3 ships now have taken actions. They've all moved, they've all made adjustments. Up next will be the Klingons. We're sitting at 9 victory points. The Klingons are sitting at 7. If the Klingons cannot get 2 victory points right now, the Federation will win the game. If the Klingons can get 2 or more victory points, the Klingons will win the game. So pretty tense. Let's come right back and do the Klingon turn and see what they can pull out of their hat. All right, it's do or die for the Klingons, which it normally is anyway. They are going to take one of their mission cards and dump it because they're obviously looking for something better. So they're going to go ahead and pull their last mission card, which of course we can't see what it is. Okay, and they're not too impressed with that. They are also going to take one of their cards, and they're going to get another one because it might be able to help them. And there we go. All right. So the first thing, wow, what do they want to do? I'm going to have to look over their stuff, and then we're going to come right back and process the Klingon turn. Now, again, they're looking for 2 or more victory points, or the Federation is going to win. All right, the Klingons are desperate, and they're in trouble. They've looked over their missions. They're just going to go ahead and they're going to take their scout, and they're going to move it into this sector of space. And what do we have in the sector of space? Empty space, not what they were looking for. Size 3, an encounter on a 1 to 3. So our little scout ship here, which has an engine speed right now of 1, is going to roll and see if it has an encounter on a 1, 2, or 3. It's a 2. It will have an encounter. Of course, the last episode we're getting an encounter for everywhere. A temporal loop. Ooh, it's worth a victory point. Persistent encounter. Your ships have been trapped in a temporal time loop, constantly reliving the same hour. A few hours. Only inside help can free your ship. Place this encounter card on the location. Ships may not leave this location until the encounter is complete. The next ship at either side that moves into this location automatically rescues the trapped ships and completes the encounter. Controller of the ship adds this card to the victory pile. If all the ships are trapped by this encounter, you may choose to destroy all of the ships and discard the encounter card. Wow, really? You'll be able to replace those ships using the reinforcement action. Your opponent gains no victory points for your ships being destroyed in this way. Whoa, what to do? So our ship is stuck there. But we do have our 2 battle-ready ships close by. Wow, I'm going to have to do some thinking and come right back and see what the Klingons are going to do. They somehow have to pull 2 victory points out of the fire here. So, all right. Okay, so this is going to stay here. Now, this ship will be rescued the second another ship moves in here, and the rescuing ship is going to get a victory point. So luckily for us, the Klingons haven't moved either of these ships. And so they're going to do that right now. We're going to move the Makta 1 space into this empty space location, rescuing our trapped scout ship, and we get 1 victory point. So the Klingons now have 8 victory points versus the Federation's 9. Can the Klingons somehow find 1 more victory point? I don't know. But then continuing to move their ships are also going to move the other ship here, the Rotoran, into this empty sector of space. So now we have Lursa, B'Etor, and Va in all 3 ships. We've gotten rid of the temporal rift in empty space. And they're all sitting there. And of course, you only roll for encounter the first time you explore the space. None of them have taken an action yet. And so they're going to take a combined action. And I do believe that's all they need to do. And let me have a look here. They are going to complete, or try to complete, Wild Goose Chase, which is make a successful level 20 sensor test on an empty space location for a victory point. Well, this is an empty space location. If we take a look at the Makta, it has sensors of 10. So that's 10. The Rotaran also has a 10, which is 20, and even to top it off, the Sumarov has 7. It has 7 as well, so that's 27. So Lursa and B'Etor, they complete that Wild Goose Chase mission in empty space, giving them 1 more victory point. for a grand total of 9 victory points. Unbelievable. So let's zoom out and we'll wrap up the game. Okay, well that will conclude my playthrough of Star Trek Fleet Captains Federation versus Klingon. We didn't have any ship-to-ship battles, unfortunately, but maybe in a future playthrough, if I do Romulans or Dominion, we'll get into some of that. Maybe I'll even make the space smaller so that we get to do some battling. So basically what's happened is the Federation ended up with 9 victory points, and so did the Klingons. Now, because the Klingons went second, how this works when you have a tie in points, the Klingons have tied the 9 victory points of the Federation, meaning it's a Klingon victory. So Lursa and B'Etor have won the day over Wesley Crusher, Riker, and the Voyager's Doctor. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was a kind of a quickish playthrough because it was only an 8-point game, but that was Star Trek Fleet Captains. And like I said, I have the other 2 expansions, the Romulan Dominion, and I will be pulling them out and playing them at a future date. So I hope you did like it. So thanks for your comments, your suggestions, your likes as well. Really appreciate it. And it is quite a fun, neat little game. The miniatures are really cool if you know how to paint, which I don't bother, but I'm sure if you knew what you were doing, you could make them look really nice. And so that was a little bit of a taste of Star Trek Fleet Captains Federation versus Klingon. So join me next time. I don't know when, I don't know what. It will be another complete playthrough of a board game. It's what I do here on my channel. I go from beginning to end, so you can see the game played right through from the start to the finish. So thanks so much for watching along on Star Trek Fleet Captains. Join me next time for another complete series.